Greetings and salutations. I'm Coach Nick, your fishing coach, representing No Redemption Outdoors. With me, I have a package sent to me from Mr. Tony Bashore himself. And he told me before he sent it, he said, Nick, I got some cool lures that I want to send you, and I want you to test out, I want you to show people how to fish them, and I want you to decide if they're any good or not. And I was excited. I thought, awesome, man, he's gonna send me a bunch of lures. What I didn't know was he was gonna send me some of the weirdest stuff you can find in the tackle shop. There's lures in here I ain't never seen before. I don't know what they're called. I don't know how to work them, nothing. But we're in this journey together. We're gonna test them. This is a new segment we're calling Bassmaster or Bust. Let's pick a lure out of this box and let's find out. Is it a Bassmaster or is it whack, man? Is it a bust? Let's get into it. Let's pop this guy open. Let's see what's inside. I don't know who wrote that on the side, but it is true. All right, first thing, I'm gonna go to the top here. Very top, easy one to find. We got this guy right here. Now, it didn't come in the packaging. It was just kind of sitting out there, but I know what it is. This is a Yo-Zuri. Yo-Zuri's been around for a long time, Japanese company. They make some awesome stuff, and this is their Knuckle Bait. Now, if you look at it, it looks a lot like a spinner bait, one of my favorites, but it doesn't have blades. This thing's got balls, man. Could be beneficial. Balls are good for a lot of things. But I'm not really sure how this is gonna work in the water. I'm assuming this guy's gonna move around and create some commotion, but it's definitely not as much commotion or color or vibration, I wouldn't think, as a regular spinner bait blade, but let's find out. Let's throw it a little bit. Comes with a little hook protector. That's kind of cool. Saves my fingers. Thanks, Yozuri. Let's tie this guy on. Let's give it a try. Bassmaster or bust? All right, as we start things off, location. This is a small pond right here by where I live. I've caught more fish out of this little lake, pond, whatever you want to call it, more big fish in my life than anywhere else. In fact, I've caught a bunch of 7-pounders, 6-pounders, 5-pounders in this little corner of it alone. And I've been fishing it since I was just a little kid. So we know there's big fish in here. That being said, the intention with this video is not necessarily to kill it catching fish. For all I know, some of these lures might not really be able to catch much of anything. The concept, though, is to test this out, demonstrate how I'm going to approach fishing it, and give an honest opinion on whether I think it has the potential to catch fish or not. I've been doing this long enough. I feel like my instincts are going to be pretty true. You can make a judgment call on if this thing is just whack and we know it's a bust, or if it's got the potential to be a Bassmaster. Let's throw it around. Let's see what happens. All right, in terms of gear selection, we have a 7-foot Abu Garcia Vendetta. It's a medium heavy, which is great because it's got that stiffness so I can really throw it out there. I got a Quantum Tour KVD, the best fishing reel ever created, if you ask me. I love this thing. It's a 7.3 to 1. It looks great and it's smooth as silk. So that little faster gear ratio means I can adjust very easily how high this guy is going to fish in the water column. I have on here monofilament, one of my favorites for the bait caster. I just like it because it's very smooth. It's also abrasion resistant. This is 12-pound Berkeley, and we're gonna give this guy some throws. To start with, I'm gonna approach this just like I would a regular spinner bait, okay? I'm gonna throw it out there. I'm gonna start with a steady retrieve. Let's just see what it looks like. All right, to begin with, it casts a mile, okay? Unlike blades, it really doesn't grab the air too much. It doesn't have that much air resistance, so that was really easy to cast, which I like. I feel like I can be pretty accurate. Now, once I'm starting to retrieve here, I can feel that little knuckle, that little ball moving around, but it's nothing like a bunch of blades on a spinner bait. I just kind of feel it wiggling, but it doesn't have that great amount of resistance, which that could be good or bad. First cast, we got nothing. Let's try again. I know there's fish in this exact spot. I fished here the other day and I caught 2 right in front of this little tree. So we know it's a good spot too. All right, giving a couple rod tip jerks here. That's something else I'm gonna do is try to create a little bit of added action just like I would a spinner bait. So I'm going steady retrieve right now. A couple jerks of the rod tip. Nothing yet. All right, before I cast out again here, let's zoom in. I'm going to show you what the action looks like, and you can kind of get a feel for what it looks like underwater and how it affects that little knuckle piece. So let's check that out. All right, we moved down a little bit. We're gonna give it another cast, see what happens. Again, I really do like the way it casts. A lot more subtle than a traditional spinnerbait. So if it's a little bit tougher bite, maybe subtlety could be good. Something I'm doing with this lure too is we got a lot of prevailing wind. We're downwind right now, which is advantageous because this is where all the bait is gonna get pushed. So if I'm downwind, bait gets pushed, predators get pushed. Okay, another big long cast there. Let's let it sink a little bit longer this time, see what happens. In terms of where it fishes, I would say it's the middle of the water column. It's not like big Colorado blades, let's say, or small willow blades that are gonna either be at the top or the bottom. It's kind of in the middle. Nothing there either. We're gonna try a cast here along the shore, so when they build up the berm on the side of this lake, they bring a backhoe and they pull all kinds of debris and matter from the bottom, and they stack that up. So it makes a little trench along here that can be a place for them to hide and ambush. So we're gonna try that. Casting in the wind, no issue, no backlash, pretty easy to throw. My grandfather taught me years ago, you have to sing for the fish. If you don't sing, you won't catch anything. Here, fishy. All right, now let's try on this one. I'm gonna just pitch it out there and I'm gonna reel right at the surface, see what that looks like. Okay, I don't love it. Reeling at the surface, it wants to come right out of the water. Let's try it again here. Maybe I reeled too fast. Okay, so I pitched it out, high rod tip. Okay, a little bit better, a little bit better. Even still, I like when I throw a spinnerbait, it kind of stays glued to the water because of all the resistance of the water, and that makes that little wake, and I can use it kind of like a subsurface. So not bad, not as good in my opinion as a regular spinnerbait. Let's cast it out again. Let's try a straight retrieve this time, nice and steady. Here, fishy, you giant, colossal fishy. Another cast. I want to catch a fish. Where are the fish? I want to catch you with my lure in your face. All right, let's try a little side cast here. Equally good. Side cast can be good in this wind. Keep it out of the wind. Last cast. Let's get a good one. Straight out. Zero backlash. No backlash on camera. That's pretty good. Usually you start recording and it turns into a bird's nest and you look like an amateur. All right, give it a tug here. It's running true. I guess that's one good thing too, is sometimes with the rotation of the blades, they rotate in one direction. If you reel quickly, it can make a spinnerbait turn on its side. With this little ball, I don't have that problem. One more, I can't help myself. One more cast, we'll go in the wind. I so badly want to catch fish on all these lures, but the reality is, as I said, some of them might be great fish catchers, some of them might catch them on just specific conditions, some of them you might have to get extremely lucky, but we're gonna give an honest opinion on everything in that box. The Knuckle Bait, it's kind of a cool sounding name for it. Their packaging is cool too if you've ever seen it. A lot of those Japanese companies go crazy on it. All right, it's the moment of truth. We got the Yozuri Knuckle Bait. We threw it probably, I don't know, 30, 40 casts out here in a really prime area, an area where I know there's fish. I caught a number today and even just a couple days ago. So I know they're there, and we didn't have any success. Now that doesn't determine whether this is a Bassmaster or bust. It's overall the impression on, do I think this is effective? Do I think it suits a very specific need? Do I think it can in some way replace or supplement onto an existing lure? And for this one, the Yozuri Knuckle Bait, I'm calling it a bust. And here's why. I don't feel like this lure has any great advantage over something that already exists, which is the spinnerbait. Okay, it's very closely related. It's got the same arm, it's got the skirt. Coming off the arm, in this case, it's got that little knuckle as opposed to blades. But I don't see any point in throwing this over a regular spinnerbait. The only advantage I could see is the subtlety, but on that, just depending on what type of blade I use, I can already have a subtle or more aggressive style lure. For that reason, I don't think it fits a specific need. I think it's one more to attract the fishermen than it is to attract the fish. That's my verdict. Yo-Zuri Knuckle Bait is a bust. Comment below if you agree with my decision, with my take on this lure. Is it a bust or is it a Bassmaster? Did I get it wrong? Do you fish it? What do you think? How do you fish it if you fish it? Make sure, as always, subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell. We got more reviews coming from this lovely box sent from Mr. Tony. Let's see how many Bassmasters or busts we have in the box. I'm Coach Nick, over and out.